With esports more popular than ever, we are seeing that the raw emotion, big money, and intense competition that make real-life sports so compelling are also at its core. But, just like in any regular sport, cheating is an inevitability.
I'm questioning if it was really Daniel in the car.
Ich hoffe, ihr könnt mir verzeihen.
Like many sports, Formula E, the all-electric racing series, decided to suspend all of their races after the pandemic hit. But whilst the season was postponed, drivers were still raring to go. And so Formula E decided to continue in spite of the pandemic, virtually. So it's real-life professional drivers would enter the gaming world to race against each other in an esports competition, the Race at Home Challenge. All drivers compete from their own homes using a gaming simulator called rFactor 2. But this setup takes things further than using a normal gaming controller. Oliver Rowland is a Formula E driver for Nissan and has installed this huge rig in his home. It includes a professional steering wheel, pedals, and a seat that reacts to the simulation. But could this ever match up to the feeling of a real race car?
I've been spending probably 6-7 hours on the simulator a day, so you get pretty tired. You tend to get worse towards the end of days. I think the general feelings, the graphics, the tracks, everything's actually very close. Of course, you don't get the cues of the feeling of the car, so you rely more on visual things, which takes you a bit more getting used to, but I think I'm actually extremely impressed with what we've been sent.
But it's not just the professional racers who get to take part. On the weekend, there is a separate race just for gamers, and the winner gets to drive around a track in a real-life Formula E Gen 2 car. Now, if you want to take part in the race on the weekend, you first have to set a really, really good lap time in order to qualify. So, I'm going to give it a go. And they've sent me one of these to try it in. It's very easy to lose control, or even have the wheel whack on your knuckles. Ow! If you lose your grip. It's not moving properly. I broke the... How did I break a fake car? But after several tries, I set a pretty decent time. Or so I thought. I came dead last. Which isn't surprising, as these gamers are the real deal. They spend hour after hour training and intensely studying the mechanics, not only of the car, but the game itself too. But the Race at Home Challenge didn't generate the positive feeling Formula E and its sponsors would have hoped for. And it may be remembered for all the wrong reasons. Recently, Audi Sports real-life Formula E driver Daniel Abt was found to have cheated during a race. In fact, he didn't race at all. Managing to obscure his face on the video feed, it was actually pro gamer Lorenz Herzing who was behind the wheel. Other drivers immediately voiced their suspicions after Abt, not true to form, had done well.
To be honest, I'm questioning if it was really Daniel in the car.
Formula E launched an investigation and by cross-referencing IP addresses, found that Abt was not behind the wheel. Audi took no time in sacking Abt, who was also disqualified in that race by Formula E. And the gamer, Herzing, banned from ever entering a Formula E event again. But why did they do it?
Kam aus einer Unterhaltung die Idee, dass es doch eine lustige Aktion sein könnte, wenn ein Simracer quasi für mich fährt, den anderen realen Fahrern vielleicht auch ein bisschen zeigt, was er drauf hat und die Chance hat, gegen die zu fahren. Und wir das Ganze wiederum dokumentieren und daraus eine lustige Story für die Fans kreieren.
Jetzt mal ernsthaft? Willst du das Rennen für mich fahren, Alter? Ohne Scheiß. Lass uns das mal wirklich überlegen. Das wäre sauwitzig.
So from this, it's clear that Abt didn't take the esports race as seriously as a real-life one. Now, we reached out to Formula E, who declined to make a statement on Abt's cheating or how they'll address their strategy to prevent it again in the future. But just think about this a second. Cheating or not, a gamer just came third in a race with highly trained professional drivers.
People are kind of starting to understand that there is a big difference between a casual gamer and like a professional sim racer.
The speed that these guys managed to extract from the cars over a lap just shows how dedicated they are to the sport. That's bound to have some kind of transferable skill set in the real world.
So could this be a new way of identifying talent?
I guess a typical motorsport person might say, well, can they do it if you put them in the car? And that's what we're going to put to test with this initiative, right? I think at the end, we have that prize. Perhaps we can provide a pathway into a real motorsport career.